if you're a Bitcoin holder, if you're a crypto holder, this weekly chart on Bitcoin, that weekly candle, it's a beautiful thing. It's probably the most beautiful chart in all of crypto right now. We're going to discuss the short-term price action of Bitcoin on the daily. The move to all-time high might be closer than many think. And I really want to start with this. And this is going to be the total crypto market cap chart, namely altcoin season, and something that I just realized in terms of where we have altcoin season for this cycle. So hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's jump into this. So let's start here talking about altcoin season and this indicator that I kind of missed. And then we'll jump into the short-term price action of Bitcoin, because the daily chart it's getting crazy. The next 3 days are pivotal for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin dominance. Y'all know I've been talking about for quite some time now. We've been basically using this Bitcoin dominance chart as a roadmap for altcoin season. We can use it for a roadmap for many things, but these white lines are Bitcoin halvings. The purple lines, if you've been watching my videos, you know that's altcoin season historically. It's Bitcoin dominance falling, altcoin season, and altcoins just outperforming Bitcoin, and Bitcoin dominance falls. So here we are last cycle. Here it is 2 cycles ago. And notice after the white line, the Bitcoin halving, it's like 200 to 220 days or so after the Bitcoin halving that this has happened. Now here we are this cycle. We're approaching this, like it's just over 200 days after the Bitcoin halving. We're approaching that area. And I just want to make a note. Do you see the trend here of Bitcoin dominance falling, lower highs across the board? Altcoins are here to stay. And that's just the way it is. It's the name of the game. This is crypto now. So here's what I missed. Elections. I've been talking about this purple line. I've been talking about, altcoin season getting kickstarted for all of this time. And I didn't even realize this purple line is almost exactly at elections. It's right around elections. And then if you actually go and you just look at, and this is what's crazy and why I wanted to bring it up, these things coming together, the confluence of these things. And I'm talking about altcoin season, the purple line, Bitcoin halving, and elections. The timing is incredible to me. Here's last cycle, elections. There's that purple line. Let's go back multiple cycles ago, or let's go back to the 2016 cycle, elections, right in between the Bitcoin halving and altcoin season. Let's go back all the way back here, 2012, altcoin season, not such a hot topic then, obviously, but there's elections and look what happened. And there's Bitcoin halving. And I just wanted to bring this up because is this, the timing of this, is this really this consistent? You know, I track so much data on this YouTube channel, similar to this, but just obviously different perspectives. The consistency of these cycles is always surprising me. It's crazy. And the reason this even clicked for me is the elections right here at this purple line is because I was actually doing short-term Bitcoin analysis based on this article. And this can be a segue to Bitcoin price technical analysis now for this video. But I was tracking this article and then it clicked. This article talking about Bitcoin testing all-time high. Bitcoin 73,700 breakout imminent. Sell-off intensity might vary. Bitcoin could be nearing a test of its all-time high, but how quickly traders will take profits remains uncertain, according to a crypto analyst. Should history repeat itself, Bitcoin is likely to retest its all-time high above 73,750 from the third week of October into November. This is kind of where I started being like, wait, going into November and then the altcoin season thing. But let me just say something. What's insane is we're talking about testing an all-time high that just happened. Like kind of this cycle. We're not talking about like in previous cycles, if you just go all the way out on a daily chart, this is what's crazy to me. Last cycle around Bitcoin halving, we're talking about, or Bitcoin halving's here, and here's altcoin season. We're talking about, man, at this moment, last cycle, we're approaching all-time high. Bitcoin's approaching all-time high. But look where all-time high was. It was like this cycle prior. Right now, we're talking about breaking all-time high that just happened. And it happened before Bitcoin halving. And this is a first for Bitcoin. This is the power of this cycle. When we start talking about things like super cycle and something is a little different this cycle, it's because there are things like this happening. So back to the article though. The article is saying the bullish breakout will likely be accompanied by occasional cool-offs that will translate as sell-offs. And he says Lee explained while arguing that the sentiment of investors leading up to the United States election in November will play a significant role. So let's look at this now. And then we're going to look at the weekly chart, and I'm going to explain why I said it's such a beautiful chart, because it really is, especially when you look at some things happening on the momentum oscillator. And I'm not just talking about, just a shift of momentum. There's actually an indicator that I want to show you. Bitcoin on the daily. So we have the 200-day moving average. It has been grappling. Bitcoin price has been grappling with that area. It's a tug of war, the bulls and the bears. As I do the video, I don't know who's going to win. The next 3 days are going to be important. I'm going to explain that in just a minute. But notice as we're testing the 200, we have the 20-day crossing above the 50, and we're testing this previous swing high. If Bitcoin can manage to escape this area, which is basically the resistance area of the previous swing high, it's like 60, it's just around 65,000. We're a few $100s away right now. And the 200-day moving average, it's game on to get to this upper trend line. This upper trend line is critical in obviously hitting a nice target to the upside. It's like 80 to 85,000. We want to see that happen, but it's obviously critical to hit the move to all-time high. In regards to that article and just talking about it could be imminent, and if it happens, I want to discuss that for a moment, because just above the breakout of this massive falling broadening wedge is all-time high. It's just above it, right? If we measure that, if Bitcoin's going to do that, it's not even a 10% move, 8 to 9% move for Bitcoin. So what I wanted to discuss, because I think it would be a good idea to anticipate, is if Bitcoin's getting crazy, things are getting exciting, we're breaking out, we have just all this momentum, I'd be watching this all-time high area very closely. For obvious reasons, it's all-time high. You watch it anyway. But where it is in the breakout story of this pattern, oftentimes we get throwbacks, right? And if you look at this, the descending broadening wedge, according to Balkowski, what does he have? He has a throwback rate of 62%. So I want to be very aware of that. Throwbacks happen. I track throwbacks, and I really enjoy tracking throwbacks in any pattern, right? So a throwback to the area, and notice this. I think this is the moment I noticed elections, because on my daily chart, I have it literally like, or maybe I moved it there, but this purple line is right here, right? So, and I think on my weekly, it's on the 11th. So I want to move that, just move it over. But elections are all in here, and there's going to be probably a lot of volatility, right? So, and that could be in an environment where Bitcoin's testing all-time high going into elections, and then there's no matter who wins, no matter what's going on, there's just indecisiveness. There's unknown. People are panicking, and it's falling back to the trend line. Throwbacks happen, especially in high volatile environments, probably. I would really need to do insane due diligence to see if that's an actual piece of data. But think about it. If throwbacks happen just in a calm sea environment, I mean, when things are getting crazy, they seem like they would be more likely, at least in my view. Now, I want to just mention, elections all in here. If Bitcoin is going to not break out, there could still be a lot of volatility to the downside. But the reason why this time might be different, and what I mean by this time is, we have all of these swing highs, and they've kind of all failed to break out. The reason why this time might be different, if we go to the Bitcoin weekly chart, and this is kind of why I said it's a really beautiful chart, check this out. The 20-week moving average, Bitcoin currently above. We need to watch it. Still 3 days, 12 hours. Want to see how it closes, because if you look, got to be careful. We had a really nice looking weekly candle back here, closing green above the 20-week. But look at the next week. What makes it different? Check this out. And, we talked about Kevin Svensson, and he talked about his, basically the lower highs of the RSI. We got the breakout. And just look at this, though. The moving average on this RSI broke out. And if you notice this candle that did close green above the 20-week, this was a resistance area below the moving average area. And if we look at this, if we look at the previous two times, the we saw Bitcoin weekly candle close above the 20 in green. Check out what also happened. This move above that yellow moving average line. And here we are back here. And this was like the bottom of the bear market. And there it is again happening. 20-week moving average, crossing above, closing above, and then above and away from that moving average line. We have that move happening right now. So if any time there is a time where we have this case where Bitcoin is actually about to continue to the next leg up on this weekly, now the indicators are really lining up to kind of look like it's going to happen. But we have to be careful because immediately we are at resistance. And I mean immediately. We just looked at this previous swing high. Bitcoin's grappling with the 200-day for like a week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're on the 8th daily candle where it's like grappling. But that is good because if you go and you look at the RSI, check this out. Upward momentum on this daily RSI, the slower moving momentum oscillator, with just so much room for a nice parabolic breakouts. So it's all lining up right now, everybody. I wanted to kind of go over all of these things, and just very interesting as we approach October and obviously clearly approach the elections coming up in November. It's going to be very crazy to see how all of these things play out. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, everybody. Appreciate you. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.